Our parks, immaculate, unspoiled open spaces, filled with beauty and magnificence, where lasting memories are born of special moments, like a family bike ride, discovering the perfect seashell, building sandcastles on a warm summer day, catching the biggest fish ever, or simply finding the ideal spot to read a favorite book. These are our Rhode Island State Parks. A lively experiment that began 100 years ago, the Rhode Island State Park System was created to provide workers and their families with an escape from the harsh realities of early 20th century life.
In 1909, in the Hearthside House on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, the Park Service was born. And the Park Service was born with the acquisition of Lincoln Woods. The big political issue at the time was the so-called 10-hour day. People were lobbying so that they could only work 10 hours, and that was 6 days a week. That was Monday through Saturday. The only days off they had were Sundays. And so when the parks came along, a lot of the park programs began as Sunday programs because that was a time when people could take advantage of them. But in 1893, the horse-drawn trolleys were replaced by electric trolleys. And with the replacement and the coming of the electric trolleys, the number of miles of trackage expanded tremendously. And so many of the people arrived at these parks by taking public transit, namely the trolleys.
Rhode Island State Parks have evolved from a visionary plan to a statewide network of historic and magnificent green spaces and greenways devoted to the public enjoyment of the outdoors.
We basically move with the times to provide recreational opportunities no one anticipated 100 years ago. Rhode Island State Parks are important because they provide people an opportunity not only to socialize. I think you'll find in our state parks virtually every ethnic group, doesn't matter what economic class you come from. It's a great place for society to mingle. They're great playgrounds. They're churches for the soul in a sense that you get to engage nature. You get to come here. You get to contemplate. There are a variety of state parks that basically are their own personalities. So there's literally something for everyone. If you like a pristine barrier beach, or you like a secluded woodland, or you like a complex like here at Colt State Park, I mean, this is just an absolute marvel of nature. People get to come here. They get to relieve themselves of the stress of everyday life and urban pressures. And so they truly are a relief valve that contributes to our quality of life.
Today, Rhode Island State Parks serve more than 7 million visitors a year, children and adults alike, enjoying over 90 sites from Bristol to Burrillville, Cranston to Cumberland.
They all have their own character. They all have their own personality. On a weekend, you come here, you see all kinds of families picnicking, and you see them playing Frisbee. It's just a lot of family atmosphere, which is great.
We often see families who take an emotional attachment to facilities. You know, it could be their park, their place within that park. Families have been conducting family reunions for 40, 50, 60 years in some of our state parks. You know, personally, I can recall being a child in Providence, growing up in the Smith Hill neighborhood, and At that time, my grandfather, who was fortunate enough to own an old Ford sedan, who would take me in the summertime to Lincoln Woods State Park, which was my first experience. The best part about those days when I was a child and my grandfather taking me to Lincoln Woods was that it was one of those occasions where he'd walk up and say, "Would you like me to take you?" And just that moment right there, just the anticipation of an opportunity to go there, knowing what I've experienced in state parks was a lasting impression. And to this day, I see that translated to other families and other kids. We see on a daily basis families enjoying facilities, kids with smiles on their faces, and the problems of the world kind of go away at that point.
She probably caught her first fish around 2. It's been a family tradition going out opening day. Good job, Elizabeth. Every year, it's a circus, rain, snow, doesn't matter, we're out here.
Snow? There's no snow.
Not today, but in years past, we've had snow on opening day.
Every opening day, here I am with my daddy.
It's Rhode Island's playground. Kids love to play outdoors. And to be able to go to a place like this, it's a wonderful experience. And to be able to have that opportunity, within an hour's driving distance anywhere in Rhode Island, it's phenomenal.
I really believe that the health of our state is tied to the health of our parks. They provide healthy, beautiful places that attract people, make them feel good. These are places that we need to take care of and steward for the future. These are places that we expect our grandchildren to visit 100 years from now.
So I grew up, with an old army tent that probably weighed 500 pounds and camped my whole life. And now I'm doing the same thing. They've been camping since they were born. And now that when we go camping, my kids that are away at college want to know where we're going, what are the dates, and can I set the GPS because I want to get there. This park in particular, I have to say, is just, it won our heart over. We went bike riding, we went running, we exercise every day here. It just promotes good health. They're beautiful kids and they love camping, and I just hope it goes on another generation.
I remember back in the 60s when Bob Dylan was like the crown prince of the folk festival, and Joan Baez was the crown princess. And the fact that it was here at Fort Adams State Park meant everything. This is one of the most beautiful sites in the world. People in Rhode Island don't know how lucky they are to have so many parks that are available to them, and they're open to them, they're not closed. When you're sitting here and you look out at that bay and you look out at those sailboats going by and you're sitting here, I mean, hey, maybe it's not heaven, but it's one step below.
Much has been accomplished over the past 100 years. Now, we look to the next 100 years. And our resolve and commitment to maintaining, preserving, and growing our system of state parks has never been stronger.
Some of the happiest memories that Rhode Island families have taken place in the parks, and I think as long as that kind of loyalty and nostalgia continues, that the parks have a very good future.
My hope for the future is that the stewardship and the value that I see in our state parks continues with future generations.
These are your Rhode Island state parks.